So, while we collect new ideas, and I want to give you a short overview of the next stable release. The plan is next month to release. Okay, so as I said yesterday, we are cleaning up the latest issues with the implementation of the cloud version. And we have some glitches to fix in the GUI, but they're very, it's gone. They're very minor. And this is, we believe we take 1 month to make sure that everything is okay. The features that we have discussed are already present in the dev branch. You know, ntop is historically the stable and the dev. The dev branch includes already this code. This code, again, is not perfect. So far, it looks good. So we have created the fuzzy logic, no crashes. The GUI, again, has some minor issues that we want to fix, and the cloud part I'm going to talk later is also something that we need to remove. So we moved to version 6 because we have changed many things. So we moved from 5 to 6 because this is going to be a major release. PF3, as Alfredo said, has been already upgraded, so we don't want to do anything with that. So this is our idea about the roadmap. Okay, so you will tell us later what you think. Evans already said something about NDPI. So the first thing that we need to finish is something we presented yesterday. Something we called the ntop cloud. Cloud does not mean that we will deliver on the cloud ntop services. This is not what we want to do, at least now. Cloud means that we want to give you a license that allows you to do that. So if there are service providers, there are partners, there are people who want to do that, or even inside the company itself that want to use this paradigm, this is something we are looking for. So in essence, we have many people that are not familiar with Packet Mirror, with RTX, NetFlow, and everything. Okay, and they have roaming users that bring the laptop here and there that need to be monitored. So imagine you have a company with people in agile working from home, from remote, that you also want to monitor these people. So what is the solution? This is not the current solution. This is a good fit for many of you, but not for all of you. So the idea is that we take mprobe in an agent mode, so like we have shown you yesterday. We install mprobe onto the laptop, onto your server, onto the devices you want to monitor. And then this one delivers to ntopng the data. And then more than that, metadata, because we can monitor processing, we can monitor memory, we can monitor CPU, usual stuff. So in essence, we come from a different perspective, okay, and we deliver this data. This can be also something relevant for Chuck and Kay if you want in the future. So instead of having to explain to people that are used to the agent paradigm how to do a port mirror, how to do this complicated stuff, so instead say, take this yet another small agent and put it in your device. It will not be heavy, because in Linux we use eBPI. From Windows we leverage on the Windows API, and then it allows you to give visibility about the processes onto the machines that you're using. And why we call it cloud? Because we have decided to change the license paradigm. So in essence, there is no license at the edge, no license at all. You put this one, and this one is delivering data to the ntopConf23 collector. And here you can account the number of users, have flexible pricing based on the number of real users that you get. Because at the moment, this is not the case. Because if you have, let's say, one more network or a big network, the cost is the same. And this also removes all the headaches about, let's say, maintenance. Because this one you can update whenever you want. There is no problem. There is no license. There is nothing like that. The license is here. Okay? And this is something we looking up, but I showed you a demo yesterday. So it allows you to see here in ntopng, Luca, regardless of its location, this is what it's currently doing, and it's delivering data somewhere else. Now, if you want to put this on a private network and with VPNs, but you want to put it on the internet, this is really up to you. Again, at the moment, we have no plans to become yet another cloud company, but we want to enable you doing that. Okay? So this is the first thing. This is called endpoint mode, because this will monitor only the traffic of the device. Okay, so if the traffic is sent to the device, it's a mirror, we ignore it. So this is only the traffic of the device. So the workload on the device will be limited. This will support Windows, Linux, and macOS as today. You have seen the presentation of Catchpoint, they are using it, okay, and they have across these three platforms. And this is why it's encrypted, so it's secured by design. There is no way you can disable encryption. It has to be encrypted. You pay one license here. We are thinking to use service-based licenses. This is something else on the table for a long time with Alfredo that we need to really do. So instead of having a permanent license, say I want to have a license for 1 week, but this is something split from the cloud paradigm. And this is already working. We just, as I said, need to modify. So it's a centralized model. No need to deploy licenses on the endpoint, and we have 2 licenses started. The endpoint mode, where nprop is monitoring only the host where it's running, or the classic. So nprop, for instance, takes a mirror or collects flows and delivers it to a remote end, and this remote end is hosted by you as a service provider, as consultant, as companies. Okay, and you ask your customer to send the data this way. So this is coming with the next release. Another thing that we want to do is something along the line of what Alfredo was showing you today. So to put ntopDisco on top of NVIDIA. The problem of NVIDIA cards that are somehow nice, but they are special. They require some reward. Basically, we need to rework a little bit the code, okay? But they're special because they allow us to have some hardware rules. So it means that if we have something nasty happening, or if we want to discard some traffic, we can discard the traffic in the card at high speed because the card is actually doing that. And we want to do it because we want to have a cost-effective solution that for people that are running network at 100 gigabit, 40 gigabit, or even more. Okay? Because at the moment, we rely on FPGA-based cards that are a bit expensive. They cost about 10,000 euro just the card, and this is a problem. Now, another thing that we want to enhance is the integration with OPN cells. As you have seen yesterday, nprop can already operate in line mode, but I think 99% of you don't know this. So we would like to simplify it, okay, especially for the ntop cloud, so that you can put it, let's say, on these cheap devices, and this one delivers the data at a central location, regardless of the operating system. So let's say if you're a service provider, you can put it on your machines. You can receive at a central location the data from your customer in a secure way, and you don't have to do anything on the end device besides a tiny configuration file that I demonstrated yesterday. So you simply download the config file from ntopng. Now, something else that we have in mind. So one of the ideas that we have is to understand if there is room in our tools for artificial intelligence and for large language models. Honestly, I don't know. So we are looking for answers. We are not experts at the moment. We don't use AI, so we have done tiny experiments here and there, but nothing more than that. So I just report to you what we have in mind. Then I would like to have a discussion with you. So what we can do, besides the buzzer, what's interesting? At the moment, we use only statistical models, only. Some of the algorithms, were already present before us. Some we have created. The code for statistical analysis is inside NDPI, so all the application using that is open source. It is working in streaming mode, so it means that the more data you put, okay, the more the algorithm is updating itself, so that we don't have to keep in memory too much data. Okay, so we spend a little bit of time on that. We always try to read all the possible paper available just to understand if there is something new, because when we have made experiments with these guys, so we have realized that the cost in memory and workload is not minor. Okay, and we would like to avoid asking you to buy a big server for doing things that instead we believe can be done in another way. But things are changing very fast. So you have seen ChatGPT. So probably there is something we should do. We have not understood what. So I'm asking you if there is something we can do. Then we have to find a new solution for storing time series. At the moment we support RRD and InfluxDB. InfluxDB at the moment is in version 3, but they are constantly changing their mind, and honestly, we don't like that word. Okay, we believe that there is something interesting. Moving to Prometheus is not an option, because moving to Prometheus does not give us any advantage, simply because the problem that we have with people is that when they have many time series, those databases designed, let's say, in a modern fashion, try to use all the possible available memory just to be fast, because they cache everything in memory. And this means that they are going to take all the possible memory of your machine. And this is not what we want. So, because we already use ClickHouse, something we had in mind was probably to use it to store time series, because ClickHouse has some, features along that line. I don't know. And another database that we are working since a long time is DuckDB. DuckDB is similar to SQLite. It's an embedded database. It's not a database with a protocol like ClickHouse you can talk to. So, what about using DuckDB inside ntopng for storing time series? And this is something that we are we need to evaluate. Mr. Arthur De Lorenzo, that is sitting in the last row of this room. We made some discussion. We didn't make up our decision, so he has also other ideas to create something super optimized. I don't know, but we definitely have to do something for time series. This is definitely something we need to do. Because we are monitoring more and more data, and the problem is that this is becoming a bottleneck for us. Then in the service license, like I said, and then we would like to spend a little bit of time to look at again at the microstat and to look at this matrix and to understand what we can do inside the this framework, because for sure there are many things that we don't do, and we would like to do them. So we have looked at a little bit at it with expertise. So if some of you is very expert of this thing, so to understand, because many times here we're focusing only on specific part, like I don't know, reconnaissance. Okay, so horizontal scan, vertical scan, this type of things. Yeah, okay, they have to happen, but they are not enough. For instance, looking at the capture the flag that I did it mostly for understanding how analysts are doing. I've realized that there is something else we can do to automate what you said. So in essence, to automate a little bit more the interpretation of the traffic. But because there is a framework that describes us all the possible issues, we should look at it a little bit more. And then we have done some vulnerability scanning. At the moment, we use Nmap vuln scan. It's not too bad, it's not too good, to be honest. So it's not too good because it gave us, let's say, many false positive, many signals that are not like that, because if I use an SSH version that was patched 10 years ago, I don't care. I mean, the fact is that, is it bugged or not? That's the question, okay? So at the moment, we are using it mostly as a delta. So for instance, if you say, I have this machine that has 10 ports open, now it has 11 ports open, or 9 ports open. There is something that has changed. Or this machine has a new CV. Okay, this is something relevant. But honestly, vuln and Nmap are nice to have, but they're not close to what commercial or third-party integration like Nessus or Qualys are doing. So we definitely have to do that, but we are aware of it. That's why we have designed the vulnerability scan in modules so that we can plug future modules to it. This is something we want to do, but we want to do it this way because this is open source, it's part of the ntopConf23 open source, so everybody can use it. Okay, and understand that the value is not in the number of CVEs we detect, but in the differences in the behavior. Said that I don't like vulnerability scan, but this is another story. This is